To find true direction, you must first destroy your method of measuring the journey. All the wrecks down below wish to be told, why did we agree to free our compass? Where we are going may only be found upon our curious pulses. Michael E. Cantrall's poem constructs a precise argument. Navigation demands the total relinquishing of physical, external measurement tools. Objective certainty operates as a cage. By rigidly gripping established coordinates, we prevent actual discovery. Literary criticism typically relies on the subjective interpretation of a finished piece. In this case, we have the author's documented revision logs to examine. We have access to the specific micro-edits Cantrall made between version 1 and version 2 of the text. We will approach this analysis in two phases. First, we will deconstruct the semiotic symbols within the poem's imagery. Second, we will analyze the structural mechanics of the author's syntactic pruning. Examining these drafts provides evidence of how a poet transforms speculative hesitation into philosophical authority. The entire thesis begins in the opening line, regarding the wrecks down below. These wrecks carry immense semiotic weight. They operate as physical monuments to the failure of absolute, objective certainty. The phrase "wish to be told" implies a desire for retrospective justification from those who failed. The sunken vessels are searching for an explanation as to why their methods resulted in their current state. The irony of the wrecks is found in their question. By asking why they agreed to free a compass, they reveal a lingering, tragic attachment to the very mechanical metrics they tried to abandon. The ocean floor acts as a structural warning that relying solely on objective metrics ultimately leads to destruction. Within this framework, the compass represents the ultimate tool of external measurement. Freeing that compass is a highly active, deliberate decision to abandon the illusion of absolute, map-based certainty. The mechanical rigidity of the compass needle stands in direct opposition to the final line's reliance on curious pulses. The biological, rhythmic pulse becomes the replacement for the mechanical tool. Direction, the poet asserts, is an internal somatic experience rather than a quantifiable coordinate. We can shift our focus from literary interpretation to the mechanics of revision, treating the text as a highly engineered structure. This interface shows a side-by-side comparison. On the left is the original version 1 text, on the right is the final version 2. Look at the penultimate line in the draft history. By striking the word perhaps, the author makes a highly consequential micro-edit. Removing this qualifier excises hesitant guessing, shifting the tone to absolute authority. Even more critical is the deletion of the original third line. The one who is not lost needs no compass. With this removed, the remaining architecture compresses into a tighter, structurally sound shape. That original line was didactic exposition. Erasing it forces the reader to rely entirely on the subtext of the surrounding imagery to parse the argument. The emotional restraint in the final text was structurally engineered. The author purposefully removed the safety nets of over-explanation to force the silence to carry weight. In the second line, we see an intentional pronoun shift from the singular, "why did I agree?" to the plural, "why did we agree?" This single letter change expands the poem's scope to address a shared human condition. The author's logs also document the removal of end stops, specifically periods, from the original lines 3 and 5. Punctuation dictates reading speed. By stripping away the periods, the philosophical question is allowed to flow forward, uninterrupted by hard stops. These hyper-specific micro-edits prove that the deep emotional resonance found in poetry is actually a highly engineered, intentional process. We can now look at the polished final poem as a completed architectural artifact. This diagram shows the philosophical argument rests on 3 load-bearing pillars: wrecks, compass, and pulses. You transition from failure to abandoning metrics to somatic trust. The surrounding text is simply connective tissue. To find the actual path, you must be willing to let the objective map vanish completely. Trying to measure the infinite ocean with a rigid needle is what creates the wrecks in the first place. The thematic message of embracing uncertainty maps directly to its physical creation process in the edit logs. Cantrall built an assertive textual framework specifically designed to hold the immense weight of ambiguity. The paradox of the text is that writing effectively about the state of being lost requires exact, ruthless, and highly calculated precision. Examining the mechanics of literary revision demonstrates that clarity comes from trusting the subtext. In rigorous writing, true confidence is never achieved by adding layers of explanation, but by systematically subtracting hesitation.